Hi, Chef Luke here, the executive chef at the Edgewood Road Hy-vee. So we've got a couple recipes here that we're doing that kind of show you how to use some of the wonton wrappers that you'll find over in your produce section. Okay, so the first recipe we'll make with it, it's kind of modified from a Chinese char sui bao, which is kind of a sweetened oyster sauce steamed dumpling. But we're going to use the wonton wrapper instead on the outside. So we've got a little chopped onions here. We'll actually use two different kinds of onions. We'll start off with a white onion just to saute in. We'll kind of work with our pork. Just going to get these lightly softened. And then we'll use the green onions later as kind of a finishing presentation. So we'll just kind of lightly chop these up and we'll just kind of hold those for a little bit later. You don't actually want to cut them, they're more just to kind of look nice in the dish. Okay. Toss these around a little bit. Then I've got some of our Hormel ground pork. Just put the whole tube in there. You don't want a very lean pork, it just won't taste good with this recipe. So, I believe this is somewhere around an 80-20. So, kind of toss it a little bit. Now we have a little bit of oyster sauce. There's not a whole lot of seasoning, just some oyster sauce. We'll kind of put around the edges, give it that sweetness. And then we'll give the sour and base with just a little bit of fish sauce. Kind of mix it right into that oyster sauce. So this just kind of needs to cook until it's done. This will be the filling for our wonton wrappers. Okay, so we'll take our wonton wrappers and first we'll cut the package open. Now you can get these and they're gonna already have like kind of the flour in between them, so they break apart pretty easily. Okay, so what we're gonna do is a little pan spray. You can use pan, whatever you got around, and just spray your pan with it. So that's ready to go. Now we'll want to take a small dish and some eggs. As best you can, just try and get the yolk out. Then just put the yolks into a dish. So as long as you get two that are relatively together, put them down in here. Just need them broke apart and softened. Okay, so get some of the onions off our cutting board and kind of check the pork, make sure it's getting there. And as it's just about getting finished, it's almost done, we can throw in our green onions. Give it that nice fresh onion quality to it. Add a little bit of kosher salt. Alright, we have our ground pork filling. Just kind of let it relax there. Let's just make a few to show how easy they are. So let's layer out just 6 of the wonton wrappers just so you can kind of see how they're done. Okay, so take a little bit of the hot filling. You're talking maybe about a tablespoon. You don't need a whole lot, because they are kind of hard to seal if you put too much into it. So we'll start off showing you how to do one. So we'll take the sides up like this. We'll take this over, kind of seal it. You'll kind of slide it back. So you have almost like a little pocket there. Make sure you clear it off of any juice. But you want to take just a little bit of the egg yolk with your finger, just enough of this to stick to the flour that's back here. Wrap it over, and then you'll put that right onto your pan. Make sure you can, if you have a little bit of the egg yolk on your finger, that you just kind of rub it on the top there. Alright. Egg yolk. Seal it over. Okay, so we'll take these, and probably when you do this at home, you'll fill up a whole cookie sheet with them so that you can have a bunch of these all at one time. So we'll toss these in our oven. I've got it set at 375, so they'll probably only take 10 minutes. I mean, it's already heated on the inside, so they're not going to take long. So we'll show you what those look like in just a minute. Now, we have another wonton recipe that's one of my favorites, and we call it a deconstructed crab meat rangoon. So you're going to have some of the wonton wrappers that you kind of end up baking like chips. So, but first we have the sauce, which is made from imitation crab, 1 pound of cream cheese. This is a ½ pound package. So we'll probably take that. So we'll probably need about 4 ounces. And just you want to kind of chop it up. Now realistically, you probably don't even need to do that. You can just break it up with your hands. It'll flake up on its own. So you don't want big chunks, but you want it kind of shredded, almost like a pulled pork. It'll incorporate better into the cream cheese. So, get our 4 ounces into here. We'll take our pound of cream cheese. Okay, so what we'll need in here for flavoring is we'll put a little bit of kosher salt. Now, there's a seasoning that I sell at my store that we usually put on a seared ahi tuna, and it's called, it's a mixture of some Japanese blend spices with a little bit of some hot pepper. It's like a Szechuan black peppercorn and a little Cajun seasoning onto it. And so we're going to put a little bit of it in the chips, but it also flavors the mix that you put in here. So we got salt and then that flavoring. Okay, so we can mix it up a little bit, but in the end, you want to see if maybe you can just mix it up by hand. It's going to get a better mix into it. And if you let your cream cheese sit out for a little while, it's actually going to be nice and soft, so it's not too bad. As soon as this is good and combined, we'll just want to take the same pan spray. Now, you can go get these at Bed Bath & Beyond. It's what we would use for like a small creme brulee, but they call them just a ramekin. So then just spray them, and then you'll fill them up just to the bottom lip there, so you don't need too much into here. So if you get a few of these, they're only a couple bucks a piece. So we'll put just enough into each one to make some warm dip. And then you'll bake these in your oven for about 10 to 12 minutes until it starts to get a little brownness on top and it's just kind of smelty, as we say. So we'll put that into the oven, and I will show you how we make the wonton chips. So now we take another cookie sheet at home, spray it across like that. You'll take your wonton wrappers, and for just kind of presentation, we'll cut them as triangles like that, and then you can kind of just keep them in the same square as they bake. Now when you get these thin ones in the store, they're not going to take long at all to get baked. You want them just lightly crispy, and then you can smear some stuff onto it. A little bit of the sauce and then some sweet and sour. Now, you can get sweet and sour sauce anywhere, but it works at our store. I'll just get it right from our Chinese department. We have a pretty good Chinese staff here, and they make a wonderful sweet and sour sauce. Now, the same seasoning that I mixed in the sauce, we'll just put a little bit, so it also kind of gives them a nice cool color. And a little bit of heat. This is some really hot blackening spice. And then we'll just get a little salt, and we'll pop these in the oven for about 5 to 6 minutes. Alright, so pulled them out of the oven, so we can set them down here. Now, I've got kind of one plate, just a little bit of teriyaki sauce. So we'll put a few of these right there. We can take the rest out of the oven. You just need to kind of soften this to get it to a nice, you don't really need it like super crispy on top, just nice and warm. And then pull out the chips. We have a sui bao pot sticker with a teriyaki sauce and a deconstructed crab meat rangoon with a little sashimi togarashi sauce on top. Bon appetit.